Now I'm going to solve the third question. Let's see the question. The question is given here. The library charges are fine for books returned late as given below. This question actually they are telling us to check or find the calculated fine amount actually. So write a program in C to calculate the fine assuming that book is returned in n days. So n days means here the value is entered by the user, and after entering the number of days by the user, you are going to check the total fine amount. Okay, so the output file amount must be in the rounded format. Oh my god. So output format amount, if it is become fractional, it must be rounded up. Okay, suppose if it is become 7.25, then it becomes 7, and if it is become 7.95, it becomes 8. Okay, you can see the chart is given here. For the first 5 days, the rupees 2.5 per day, and 6 to 10 days it is rupees 3.75 per day, and so 2.5 rupees 2.5 and rupees 3.5 75 here. Okay, rupees 3.75 here, and above 10 days the amount is rupees 4 per day. Okay, now in this program you can see number of days already taken in the variable n. Okay, and the data type of the n variable is int because days are not in fraction, never be. Okay, 6.5 days. How can be possible? Maybe 6 days, maybe 7 days, maybe 10 days, maybe 100 days. It is if you are just going to just submit your book suppose within the middle of the day, then the whole day actually calculated, not it is just fractional part. If you submit the this book at 11 AM, then it is not calculate. Okay, you are going to give the book at 11 AM, then it is maybe 6.3. Okay, not this like this. Okay, the total days calculation actually takes place, and for this reason the number of days actually declared as integer, but the calculated fine, okay, may obtain the fractional value, because as per the chart given in the question, you can see here that 2.5 for the first 5 days and 3.75 for the 6 to 10 days. Okay, so there is a much more probability to obtain the fractional value in the fine portion. Okay, and for this reason clear here the fn to store the fine amount, which data type actually float type. Right, now I'm going to calculate if n is less than equals to 5. So if n less than equals to 5, then fn equals to 2.5 per day, and the number of days is stored in variable n. So 2.5 into n is the calculated amount. Okay, next one is else. If, so this is an example of the complex if statement. Okay, so in the else if block I'm going to write here the another condition, and the another condition is in 6 to 10 days, it means greater than 5 but less than 11, right, or less than equals to 10. In greater than 5 and in less than equals to 10. Okay, so here the fine is, now what is the fine amount? Suppose if you are going to submit this book in the 8th day or 7th day, so the first 5 days calculation actually being takes place according to rupees 2.5. Okay, not according to the rupees 3.75, because 3.75 amount is basically applied after the 5 days, but before the 5 days you have to pay the fine as the amount of 2.5. So you if you just enter in this else if block, it means you have already passed the 5 days. So the 5 days total charges according to 2.5 rupees per day is already included in your fine, and for this reason I am going to write 2.5 into 5. It is already included in the fine portion. Now the rest of the other days means the if you submit the book after 7 days, then the first 5 days is calculated as 2.5 rupees per day fine basis, okay, and the rest of the other 2 days, that means 7 minus 5, 2 days is going to calculate in basis of 3.75 rupees, 3.75 per day basis, okay. So 7 minus 5 actually the calculation thing, okay. So here say is 7 is stored actually basically in the variable n, so n minus 5, okay, n minus 5 into 3.75, right? Okay, now else, as I have already mentioned that how can we actually determine how many condition actually used within the complex if statement. It is completely actually available in complex question. Actually you can see in the question there are 3 actually condition is going to check, okay. So as I already told you that how many conditions there, we are going to use one less condition because the last condition is got to automatically go to the else block, and for this reason in this program I actually use the 2 conditions, and the rest of the other condition, it means if the day is more than 10 then it go to the else block, and this time fn equals to, so now when it is more than 10 days means if it's maybe 13, 14, 15 days, right, suppose 15 days, so first 5 days calculation is actually done on rupees 2.5 per day basis, okay. So let's 2.5 into 5 for first 5 days, and rest of the other 5 days, it means from 6 to 10 days, it actually going to calculate on the rupees 3.75 per day basis. So again 3.75 into 5, and after this 10 days, if I just taking input as 15, then after the calculation of the 10 days, okay, the rest of the 5 days, it means 15 minus 10, right, 15 minus 10, these 5 days is going to calculate according to rupees 4 per day basis, okay. So 15 is stored in the variable n, so here n minus 10 into rupees 4 per day, okay. Now I am going to print the fine amount. So you can see I have already printed the fine amount here. Now I am going to run the program and compile it, no error, and run the program, and it asking for the enter the number of days. Suppose I am entering the number of days is 4, so 4 is less than 5, so it going to calculate rupees 2.5 rupees per day basis, okay. So it is 10, okay, 10, no problem. Again I am going to run this program, and you can see it is asking again for to enter another value. Suppose it is 9, okay. So first 5 days is basically calculated on the basis of rupees 2.5, it means it becomes 12.5, with the value of 12.5 it is going to add rest of the other 4 days on the basis of 3.75 rupees per day. Let's see what's happened. The fine is 27.50, right. So 27.50 when I enter the value of 9, and this time this else if block is going to execute, okay. Now the question arises that when this else if block actually executed, right, when this first condition becomes false. When the first condition becomes false means the n is greater than 5, right? N is greater than 5. So else if block actually execute when this condition becomes false. It means n is greater than 5. So in this else if block, the condition n greater than 5 is no longer needed, because else if block only execute in this portion when the first if block is become false. So it means that the n is already greater than 5, and that's why it is going to execute. So you can write this n greater than 5 portion, or you can omit this, okay, because this else if block only execute when n is greater than 5. Otherwise it going to the first if block, okay, otherwise it going to execute this first if block, right? Now I'm just omit this portion, and you can see if I just run the program again and enter the value 9 again, and it gives the same answer, 27.5, right? But in the question you can see it is already mentioned that the output fine amount must be in rounded format. Oh my god, this is the main interesting thing, the rounded format, okay? So the output must be in the rounded format, so it is very tough. So let's run the program again and enter the value 9 again, okay, and you can see 27.5.0. so it must be 28, right? How? In case of the float data type value, when in the program it is going to execute, it actually print the value after the decimal places up to 6 place, okay? You can see if I'm just going to run the program again and enter the value of 9, and you can see 27.5000000. It means 6 digit actually printed after the decimal point. Now I'm going to mention here 0.02. Now I'm going to run this program, and what's happened, let's see. You can see it is 27.50. So only 2 digit after decimal places, because I have already mentioned here after decimal places in the float value you have to print the up to 2 digit, okay? So if I just remove this, I've just mentioned that 0.0f, then what's happened, let's see. I'm entering the same value again 9, okay? You can see I'm enter the same value again 9, okay? This time it shows 28, okay? So this is the another type of application of float variable. This type of application is known as formatted output, okay? This one is the type of format output for the float data type value, okay? C compiler is very much clever, okay, obviously more than me, I agree with this. It actually round up the value, it not lose the value, actually it returns the 27.5, okay? If it's rounded to 27, then we'll lose the 0.50, 50 paise already lost, and as it is 50 paise, so in case of 50 paise, if I just going to round out in any kind of shop, then it is automatically become 28. So you can see in this program it is become 28, okay? So in this way we can round out the format by using the formatted output for the float data type, okay? Now I'm going to run the program again and enter the value of 15, number of days, okay? Now let's see what's happened. The fine is 51, okay? In this case actually the last else block portion, this one actually going to execute, okay? So in this way we can solve the problem which is actually given in the question. By doing this program we can easily calculate the fine amount obtained after entering the number of late days by the user, okay?